If the king doesn't lead, how can he expect his subordinates to follow?
How's it going, guys? It's Void Emperor Virgil. I wanted to give y'all a handout today. When I first moved over to Smite from League of Legends, I found it really hard to find builds, and I had to test and go through multiple websites and all this other crazy stuff, because unlike League of Legends, which has meta builds where pretty much you build the same build on almost all your characters because it's those specific items are overpowered, Smite doesn't quite work that way. Smite has multiple build paths. Each one works well, it just depends on the situation, depends on your game style. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you my Hou Yi build. Out of all the builds I've done, this is the one I prefer the most. I'll give my reasoning, couple variations in terms of situations. Before going over the items, I will go over his abilities so we can kind of get an understanding of why I pick the items with these abilities. So for starters, we have his passive. After taking a critical hit, Hou Yi can't be critically hit again for 3 seconds. Really strong for dueling. Artemis has passive crit. A lot of other hunters like to build crit. This right here can help you survive some of those duels, keep you alive a little bit longer, so really strong dueling potential. His next ability will be Ricochet. So Ricochet is a line target ability, increases the damage per bounce, up to 2 bounces, to 100%. So pretty much if you can get 2 bounces off and then hit them with it, they take pretty much twice the damage. So to give you an idea, I'll show you real quick. We'll use it on this guy. So I'm not going to bounce it at all. 193. So we're going to wait for the cooldown. And if they are marked with his next ability, which we'll get into, they do get stunned. So now we'll go ahead. Boom, 290. And then I'm going to try to see if I can get a triple bounce off here. Not sure if this area will allow me to do so, but I want to see if I can show you guys the actual maximum damage this thing can output. So there, as you see how it bounces twice, and then it will hit him. 387. So it goes up by about 100 damage per bounce. And this is no items. That's 387 I just hit. So next ability will be his Mark of the Golden Crow. Really his most important ability. You have to be able to micromanage where your mark is, who it's on, pay attention when it's going down. This ability is, even though it's not your damage ability, it is your bread and butter late game for a reason. So we'll go over it. First off, at rank 1, the enemies take extra damage from Hou Yi. For more health they're missing. Pretty simple, obviously. Lower health there, the more damage you'll do. At rank 3, really useful. When you mark someone, they become visible no matter where they are, including stealth gods. So if you can get that down on a Loki, an Ao Kuang, anyone who can go invisible, even if they go invisible while the mark is on them, it will show you and your team where they are. Really good for keeping track of some people, because fights get chaotic, and it does ping for you on the map when they're around the wall. It will ping saying an enemy is nearby. But the next part is probably the most important part and underrated part of Hou Yi. When you have maxed this ability out, Hou Yi gains 25% penetration against the marked target. So that is built into his kit. 25% armor penetration. That is really strong, especially being built in on the kit. We will go back over this ability very shortly. His circle is very simple. It is his leap. He goes up into the air. I will go ahead and show you. It does do some damage. Most of the time you will use it for an escape. You go up, jump out. However, if you have the ability to, or you know it's guaranteed you're safe, you can initiate with this as much as you wish. So you just go up, pick your target, go down, very simple. If they are marked with your crow, like that, and you hit them, it does knock them back. So you can use it to save people, mark them with a crow, jump in, knock them away from your teammate, knock them into your tower. A few little things you can do there. It's pretty fun to pull off. Overall, it will be your main escape ability, especially when you're in danger. So his ultimate, very good zoning tool or finishing tool, AoE. So he fires down pretty much a bunch of shots from the sky. Each one does a crap ton of damage. And then whoever is marked with your crow will be slowed while they're in your ult. Like I was telling you, that crow ability, his second ability, is by far the most important to pay attention to. Because when they're marked, his ricochet arrow will stun them. His circle knocks them back. It gives vision, it gives penetration, it slows them in your ultimate. This ability, if you can micromanage it correctly on the correct targets, is absolutely the most important thing on his kit. I would even say worry less about learning how to bounce his arrows, and just, if you have to, just do a straight out hit like that for the stun. Don't even worry about the bounce. If you can get the bounce, great, but it's a guaranteed stun. It does damage, it's penetration. Everything about that ability is so important. Now we're going to go over the items that I believe go well with this kit. So we're going to go back over here. So, very first thing you're definitely going to want to do is you want your Transcendence. Transcendence is one of your biggest items for him. It's a scaling item. It gives him mana, and then it also converts some of that mana into power. It allows him to spam his abilities a lot more, because as you can tell, he's very ability based. Being able to throw out all these abilities is very important. You need the mana, you need to be able to use these abilities, otherwise it really hurts. You can go full auto attack based build. Personally, I think that really lowers his core power, because his kit is just so well designed. So next item, of course, will be your boots. You're going to want more power than attack speed, because we'll have attack speed later in the build. This power, especially early game, will make your arrows do quite a bit more, especially with Transcendence. Just these two items with where we're sitting now are doing about 175 per hit. Your arrow, let's just say you don't get the bounce, you only get the single arrow. You're doing 251, that's not bad. And then, you know, it'll do about 400, about 450 if you get the triple bounce, 350 if you only get one bounce. So it's not bad. It's not bad for early game, considering it's early. Most people are going to have, you know, 700, 800 health. I mean, hey, it's a decent amount of damage early. So next, I personally choose Aussie. You may go Quinns size if you wish. Normally, you're going to want to go Aussie. Because it is your attack speed, it gives you that small amount of physical penetration, and it gives you your lifesteal force sustain. So all of this is good, because around the time you get this item, you're either going to be like towards the end of your early game, or you're already going to be mid game. You should have it early game, but depending on your laning phase, depending on what all happens, you're going to be towards the end of your early phase or already in your mid game. You're going to want this sustain for the fights, because your fights are going to start breaking out. The early penetration is going to help out against the other carries and some of the tanks who haven't quite got their defense items up yet. Just overall, really solid item. I mean, you're already going to be attacking at a decent rate, like I said. I mean, that's not bad for early. Next up is probably one of your most important items. It is your Quinns size. This item right here is pretty much your tank buster item, or your early tank buster item, if you want to call it that. Gives you physical power, gives you more attack speed, and all of your physical damage attacks do 4% of the target's maximum health. So clearly the tanks are going to take that extra damage, and you get the attack speed and the power. So 2 items later, earlier we were hitting for about 175, now we're hitting 238. We've gone up a little over 50 damage. You know, 1 arrow is already going to go up, boom, 310. So we're already starting to climb up there in power. And those are just regular abilities. That's not even with the penetration from the X ability. Obviously, I have all my abilities maxed so I could show them off to you. You're not going to have it maxed yet because you're going to max square first. So your next item is literally the item that I find the most interesting and important because it just synchronizes so well with this kit. So most people, I've seen a lot of builds, you know, this is why I wanted to post. A lot of builds would say right here you should go Executioner. Executioner gives you that attack speed, it gives you some power. All of your auto attack shreds some of their armor. Now, we don't need that. Not on Hou Yi. I don't think you should ever buy that item on a Hou Yi. This item right here, Titan's Bane, by far better than Executioner on Hou Yi. So this item, we'll go ahead and read it. 30 physical power doesn't sound the greatest, but all of your physical attacks gain 33% physical penetration. That's 33% penetration right there. That is huge, especially when you start hitting those tanks. So you walk up here and bam, look at that, 278. Now, the reason I wanted to go over my abilities first so you guys can understand. 33% penetration from that item, but let's not forget, at max rank, your X, or your second ability if you're on PC, gives you 25% penetration. 25%. So unless my math is off, which it may be, that is 58% armor penetration if you have this maxed out, mark them with the X, and have Titan's Bane. Almost 60% armor pen. So I mean, we'll even mark and 278. You know, like, it's ridiculous. 60%. That is going to help you shred through tanks and help your team. That is going to be the most amazing thing. Once you're here, you should be pretty much full power spike, besides a little bit more attack speed or damage. But right here, once you have this build, you are ready to kill anyone that comes near you. So you will be ready to destroy an entire team. As for your last item, the most common item, because if you're going Conquest, you're going that team fight status, you're going to want Odysseus Bow. You want to get those auto attacks out more. You want to make use of all of your abilities. When you mark them with that Phoenix, you want to use that extra penetration. You want to hit. You want to hit. That's what this item allows you to do. And it allows you to hit multiple targets, because you're going to obviously be hitting whoever's in front of you. The lightning chain is going to proc. It's going to proc between multiple members, dealing damage to everyone. Just a phenomenal late game item. Now, for the variations, say you're happy with your attack speed before this, and they have a healer on their team, and she is making your guys' lives hell. You know, healing them up. You guys are having trouble picking off a kill because they keep healing, surviving with that small amount of HP because of those heals. You can always not go with this item, and you can always choose to go Brawler's Beast Stick. This item pretty much is going to reduce their healing. As you can see, enemies hit by your abilities are 40% reduced healing for 8 seconds. For Hou Yi, that is phenomenal. In a team fight, say you buy that, and oh no, you're breaking out into a team fight. Look, that's your ultimate. You drop that on top of their team, and it doesn't matter if they stay in it. As long as you tag them with one hit, for the next 8 seconds, their healing is reduced by pretty much half. That could help you guys out. That's if you want to go into a healing item, and that's up to you. You can always go Executioner if you really want the extra penetration, although Brawlers I personally think is way better because it still gives penetration, but it doesn't rely on you landing autos to do it, reduces healing. I've seen people go Rage just for the crit. You don't really need it. I am telling you, out of all the builds I have gone through, this exact build right here is by far the best one I have run into. And we'll even go out here and I'll even just show you a little bit on this Raw, the damage it does. So we'll just mark him with the Phoenix, auto attack, 252, and he's gone. Like, it's a pretty strong build. Strong dueling, strong team fighting, everything about this build is really strong. And that's just my personal opinion. If you guys have any disagreements, comments, questions, build requests, anything, let me know. I will try to help you guys out. And that's all I got for you. This is Void Emperor Virgil. Catch you later.